My mistakes have been put on the public stage. Other people's mistakes aren't. And there are many things that are good, but good news doesn't sell papers, and bad Fergie sells.
She had been working for Soho House since at least 2005.
She made everyone believe she had a perfect fairy tale love story. But behind all the fancy magazine covers and planned interviews, there was a different side of Meghan Markle that regular people never got to see.
When she started on Suits and she befriended Jessica Mulroney, her status changed.
A side that didn't accidentally become royalty, but carefully planned every step to get there.
She was one of my Deal or No Deal girls that were, she was a caddy for all of my celebrities.
For years, she told everyone she was just a struggling actress who randomly fell in love with a prince, like fate sent her a special invitation to the palace.
This gentleman right here, that's Nick Jones, the original founder of Soho House. Guess where he's going there? He's arriving at Meghan Markle and Harry's wedding as guest of honor. Oh yeah, Soho was present there.
But people who know the truth say that story is as fake as a made-up movie. Because way before Meghan met Harry, she was already meeting important people, making the right friends, and connecting with powerful folks who could help her.
Once a Soho House basic, always a Soho House basic bitch.
She didn't just play the fame game. She studied it like homework. She didn't just make friends. She picked people who could help her career. She made sure everyone noticed her. Every person she met mattered. Every friendship had a purpose. And nobody knows this better than Sarah Ferguson, who watched Meghan's real entrance into the royal world up close.
Many people in this world are lost. It's excruciating to live with past mistakes. It is so difficult. I always would like to change so many things in my past, but I can't. I've got to move forward, and it's very difficult to go back over them.
The fancy interviews, the crying documentaries, the poor me story, cute. But Fergie has proof. And if that proof comes out, Meghan's fairy tale doesn't just break, it explodes. Because Meghan's real climb to fame didn't start at the palace. It started at Soho House. And that's where things get really interesting.
Meghan has always had this very, very strange fascination with Soho House. Very much this weird obsession with it.
Forget the idea of a shy actress hiding in Hollywood. Meghan wasn't waiting around for good luck. Her real playground was Soho House, a super exclusive club for rich and famous people who can make celebrities with one phone call. While normal people struggle to get acting jobs, Meghan walked into those fancy lounges like she already knew how to win. She didn't just want to be noticed. She wanted to be remembered. Every dinner was like an investment. Every drink was a planned meeting. Every conversation was a step toward circles most actors never reach. That's where she learned the big secret. Power isn't earned. You get it by being around powerful people.
Jeffrey Epstein was also Harvey Weinstein, very prominent. There were members. Meghan Markle was just one of the working girls for Soho House. Call girl, working girl, escort, whatever you want to call it. That's what she was.
So she became friends with producers, rich people, billionaires, media bosses, and anyone who had something she wanted. And her access wasn't lucky. Marcus Anderson, one of the most important connection makers at Soho House, was like her elevator straight to success. The higher Meghan climbed, the more careful she became about who she spent time with. She didn't just hang out with elite people. She picked her friends like stepping stones. And rumor has it, at Soho House, Meghan made her plan for entering British royalty long before anyone knew her name. But while she was building her ladder, someone was quietly watching every move. Sarah Ferguson.
Now it's payback time. Meghan and Fergie are both exactly the same. People say, oh, Fergie never talked bad about the royal family, because Fergie was literally blackmailing the royal family, because Fergie has been part of the shady deals that Andrew has done and some of King Charles.
While Meghan was busy climbing the social ladder at Soho House, she wasn't the only woman there who understood how power works with British royalty. Sarah Ferguson had survived scandals, headlines, royal drama, and mean tabloid stories for decades. She watched Meghan move in ways most people completely missed. Fergie didn't need help or fancy photos. She already knew the game because she'd played it longer and harder. When Meghan acted like she discovered something brand new, Fergie immediately recognized the ambition. Unlike other celebrities fooled by Meghan's charm, Sarah saw the strategy. She noticed how Meghan only talked to people who could make her more famous. She caught how Meghan ignored anyone who couldn't help her career. She recognized that hunger because she'd felt it herself when she first joined the royal family. Meghan didn't realize she was being studied by someone who'd already fought the same battles. Fergie wasn't judging at first. Actually, people say she respected Meghan's determination. But something changed later, and that change would turn quiet watching into something much more personal, because Meghan didn't stay loyal to the woman who helped her.
You know, this is what Meghan has been doing. She's a piece of Klingon, you know, like she clings to somebody who can get her there. So Meghan manages to befriend one person of a very popular group, and then that person introduces her to the others. And that because that she's being brought in by somebody they trust, she's welcomed in.
Everything was fine until Meghan got exactly what she wanted: direct access to royalty. The moment she got close to Harry, her whole attitude toward people who helped her suddenly changed. The friendly smiles disappeared, the thank yous vanished, and the strategic charm turned into pretending she barely knew them. Sarah Ferguson, who was once useful, suddenly became invisible. Meghan didn't just create distance, she acted like Fergie never existed. Once Meghan became royal, anyone who knew the old version of her became a problem instead of a friend. For Fergie, it wasn't the distance that hurt, it was the disrespect. She'd watched Meghan play the social game perfectly, but never expected her to destroy the very bridge she'd crossed. Rumor says Fergie didn't even get acknowledged during Meghan's early royal celebrations, even though she was one of the first to quietly help her. Meghan acted like she'd risen to the top all by herself, like those Soho House years, and helping hands never happened. That's when things snapped. People say Fergie felt shocked, not because she needed Meghan, but because she'd given her real support when others wouldn't take her seriously. And when Meghan switched sides, Fergie realized something important. This wasn't just ambition anymore, this was erasure. Someone who pretends their past never existed can be dangerous. And Fergie was one of the few who still remembered every detail.
I've just been able to reveal today that she was actually in touch with Epstein for years afterwards, staying in his flats.
Once Meghan entered royal life, a quiet cleanup started happening. Not in the palace, but in her past. People who were once proudly in her life suddenly disappeared from her story. Photos got deleted, posts vanished, and certain friendships went from lifelong friends to barely knew them. And it wasn't random, it was on purpose. The people who faded weren't ordinary friends. They were the ones who could talk about the version of Meghan that didn't match the Duchess image. The more polished her royal look became, the more her earlier life got locked away. The wildest rumors involved important names connected to Meghan before Harry: billionaires, powerful businesspeople, yacht parties with elite circles, and introductions arranged for power rather than love. One rumor claims Meghan briefly positioned herself near Prince Andrew long before Harry, not romantically but strategically through overlapping social groups.
Her man serves certain no purpose. Does that sound familiar? Fergie saying, oh, you know what? I'm done. Why? Because now she no longer has the use of the title.
While some call it gossip, the timing, connections, and convenient friendships raise questions. And guess who was there in those circles? Sarah Ferguson. She wasn't hearing secondhand stories. She was there during the time Meghan wishes nobody would talk about. Even the wedding guest list tells a story. Certain Soho House people who helped push her into elite society were mysteriously not invited. Not because of fights, but because their existence contradicted her polished origin story. Meghan wants the world to believe destiny made her royal, but Fergie knows it was groundwork. When word quietly leaked that Sarah Ferguson might write a tell-all book, the reaction inside the palace wasn't united, it was split. Some high-ranking people immediately saw the danger. Fergie isn't a gossip writer. She's someone who lived inside the royal system, suffered under it, survived it, and learned exactly how to fight back when pushed.
It really is. It's because you just cringe. You just think, it's not me. Where was my head at the time that I did all these things, or I lapse of judgment, or whatever else I'm meant to have done? And it gets to a point where you really think, enough's enough.
If she writes a book with no filters, she could change how the public understands not just Meghan but the whole monarchy. And that's where panic started. King Charles, according to whispers, wants peace. Keep Fergie close, keep her happy, keep her controlled. He doesn't want another public disaster threatening the royal family he's trying to stabilize. But not everyone agrees. Prince William reportedly isn't worried about Fergie's book. If anything, he thinks whatever comes out will only prove the truth he's been living and expose the PR tricks around Harry and Meghan. He's not scared of the information because he's not tangled up in it. Harry, though, is stuck. If Fergie tells everything, Meghan's reputation gets destroyed, but the story he built with her crumbles too. And that leaves Meghan in the worst position. She can't count on the palace to protect her because half of them don't care if the truth comes out. The royals aren't united around Meghan anymore, they're divided. And division is exactly what gives Fergie power she didn't have before. What makes Sarah Ferguson uniquely dangerous to Meghan isn't bitterness or jealousy. It's the information she has. Fergie wasn't watching from the sidelines during Meghan's climb. She witnessed the strategy behind it.
Sarah Ferguson is as cunning and as deviant and as skanky as Meghan Markle. She just was lucky that when she was doing all her skankiness, the internet was not around.
According to insiders, she has the timeline, the names, the introductions, the favors, and the exact moments where Meghan shifted from aspiring celebrity to royal contender. If that blueprint ever goes public, Meghan's carefully built brand, humanitarian icon, fearless rebel, misunderstood duchess, doesn't just shake, it collapses under the weight of proof. Meghan has spent years pushing the story that the palace failed her, the media hunted her, and fate delivered her into royalty. But if Fergie reveals the truth, the story becomes something way less flattering, a long-term social climb done with precision. And this wouldn't just hurt Meghan's image. It would destroy her whole business model. Her documentaries, interviews, podcasts, and motivational speeches all depend on people believing she was a victim of the system, not a calculated player in it. That's exactly why Fergie's silence has value. She isn't holding resentment, she's holding power. Meghan can fight tabloids, critics, palace insiders, even former friends. But she can't outsmart someone who knows the version of her that existed before the fairy tale and can prove it. If Fergie has this much ammunition, why hasn't she used it yet? The answer is simple. Timing.
There is no sympathy for this lying grifter. She has shown her true colours. She is an utter disgrace. She is an embarrassment to the monarchy.
Sarah Ferguson has lived her entire adult life in the spotlight. She understands how media works better than most politicians, royals, or celebrities. She doesn't explode. She waits and chooses her moment carefully. Right now, Fergie is rebuilding her reputation through charity work, business projects, and being honest about her past mistakes. She knows that dropping the Meghan bomb too early would look desperate, but dropping it when the world is already questioning Meghan, that's strategy. Publishing insiders say the tell-all isn't just an idea, it's a clock quietly ticking. Fergie isn't desperate, so she has no reason to rush. The second she feels dismissed, sidelined, or unfairly blamed by the palace, media, or Meghan herself, she has the nuclear option. People who know her warn that Fergie may forgive, but she never forgets. When someone plays her for a fool, she waits until she can strike without looking mean while still hitting with maximum force. Right now, Meghan's team is nervous because they can't control or spin Fergie. This isn't a critic, tabloid, or anonymous rumor. This is someone who sat beside her, watched her climb, and knows the origin story Meghan keeps hidden. And when Fergie decides to talk, the damage won't be stoppable.
Meghan Markle only becomes prominent for Soho House, guys, after she starts being on Suits and she's introduced to Marcus Anderson. And then she gets more consistent and more prominent work, okay? Because then she could be in the presence of Marcus Anderson.
So when you connect every piece, Soho House, the networking, the sudden loyalty switch, the erased connections, the palace divide, and the silent power Fergie now holds, it's clear that Meghan's story isn't finished. The public version may be polished, emotional, and media-friendly, but the real version sits in Sarah Ferguson's memory like an unpulled pin on a grenade. And the moment Fergie decides she's done being quiet, Meghan's perfectly written story doesn't just get challenged, it gets rewritten. Not by tabloids or critics, but by someone who actually watched it happen with her own eyes. A reveal like that wouldn't just be another headline, it would be a turning point. And if you think this drama is wild now, wait until you see what's happening on the other side. Because Meghan isn't just dealing with palace tension and public doubt, she's now targeting the one royal who refuses to stay silent. In our previous video, we explained the shocking situation where Meghan allegedly reacted furiously when Prince William took steps that could permanently threaten her royal status. That video shows the panic, legal warnings, and behind-the-scenes pressure her team is trying to control. So if you want to understand why the story is spinning out of control faster than expected, watch our last video right after this one. You're watching Star Spotlight, where the truth doesn't stay buried.